Back, and I'm honored to say we are visiting with Todd Bensman, one of our country's preeminent experts and investigative reporters covering the border and what is happening in the way of, well, an invasion across it at the moment as a direct result of policies enunciated and inflicted upon us by Joe Biden and his administration. Todd has a terrific background for this kind of work. He has been both a journalist for many years. He has been a professional on the staff of the Department of Public Safety and its intelligence division in Texas. And of course, he is these days with the Center for Immigration Studies, an enormously important organization. He's the author of, among other things, America's Covert Border Wars, about the Islamist terrorists at the border and inside our country. And he's a good friend, and we're always delighted to have a chance to talk with him, especially he's giving up time that he needs to finish his new book, which has a working title of Overrun, in which he's going to chronicle what has been happening of late and what we can do about it. Todd, it's great to have you back with us at Securing America. Thanks for taking a few minutes.
No problem. Thank you.
Just a quick 30,000 foot view of where things stand right now before Title 42 goes over the side, and then we'll talk about what that'll look like.
Well, the anticipation of Title 42 has driven huge numbers, thousands and thousands of migrants from the Darien Gap jungles through Colombia all the way to northern Mexico. Just the anticipation that they are all going to be let in and given a chance to say, I apply for asylum. So they're already coming over in huge numbers, even before the lifting of Title 42. Last month, we had a record of 221,000 apprehensions, not including the gotaways. That was another 68,000. These are astronomical, record breaking numbers. I'm told that we're going to have a similar number when they come out officially for the month of April, which is going to be about 216,000, not including the gotaways. So they are pouring over in huge groups in the Rio Grande Valley, groups of 150, 200. There are reports about groups of 1,000 on the other side. They are only talking about Title 42. That's what everybody's talking about. The lifting. They can't wait.
Yeah, and just remind us what that title speaks to and how it has had an impact to this point, and what you're projecting will be the consequences of its removal.
Right. Well, Title 42 is reference to the code, the U.S. code, Title 42, which gives the CDC authority to declare a pandemic related border closure so long as the federal government agrees to enforce it. So it's a kind of a two-part agency collaboration. This allows DHS to return 100% of all immigrants who illegally cross the border back to Mexico without granting them the possibility of applying for asylum, which is key. Trump put it in, Biden kept parts of it, but the parts that he didn't keep are responsible for this mass migration, which would be far worse had they not kept at least some of it in place as a speed bump. That is going to go away. Supposedly, it's scheduled for May 23. There's some litigation. 20 states, they're all red states, of course, have sued to keep it in place. There is a temporary injunction that we'll learn this week whether it is going to be made permanent and for litigation. But eventually, Title 42 is going to go away, and that means everybody who crosses will be allowed into the country.
And Todd, I can only imagine what that would entail in terms of not just the numbers, but the impact on, again, not just the law enforcement personnel that you've worked with in the past and are reporting on being, in extremis at the present time, but also for the country on the other side of that thin green line, I guess you might say. Um, just give us a sense, if you've got one, of the projected numbers that we're talking about and the kind of costs that would be associated with providing them, all of the benefits, the social safety net, if you will, that is on offer from the Biden team.
Well, the intelligence community, the American intelligence community, is predicting between 12,000 and 18,000 per day. Nobody knows if that's going to turn out or if it's going to be more or less or anything about it, because we literally are in a place where we've never been before. We have never seen any numbers like what we're having, even with the speed bump in
Mhm.
place, let alone when it's completely taken away. And the uh, Biden administration appears to that their plan is to grease all the skids in so that nobody has to be returned necessarily. Everybody pretty much gets in on something called parole authority, which is an illegal use, I contend, of a section of INA that they're using for mass entries to give everybody an entry, a legal permission slip to come into the
Mhm.
country. And we're looking at costs that can't be tallied at this point. It's just too early. The numbers that we've let in so far amount to about 1.3 million have been paroled in already in the last 1 year. If and that's with pushbacks for a lot of them still under Title 42. Once you remove the pushbacks, you can easily expect to treble that number inside of a year, or quadruple the number. It could be 4 million, could be 3 million. It'll be in the millions for sure. That'll all be coming in. They're already starting to come in, and the numbers, we're going to have to put them someplace. We're going to have to feed them. They're going to need baby formula. We don't have any
Mhm.
baby formula. These are, a lot of them are families. We're going to be giving them housing subsidies. We're going to be giving them food stamps and all of our social safety network, net for American citizens.
Medical care
Medical
and
care. I mean,
the
everything.
opportunity to get educated for free in our public school systems, and
Yeah,
the other, as you
I
say,
just visited a public school
measures.
system in East Texas that has experienced a 130% increase in enrollment, and they're all non-English speaking children, and they're just burning their savings account. And when they're done burning their savings account, they're just going to have to lay off teachers or something. They're
Wow.
literally collapsing out there.
Yeah, and obviously with horrific impact on American kids, taxpayers,
Yeah, of course.
and the society writ large. Now, Scott, Todd, excuse me. Let me just ask you one thing that I think is still yet to be really fully felt is the impact of successive governments in Latin America going communist, and the likelihood that, as Peru and Chile have gone in the past year, and as Colombia and perhaps Brazil are expected to in the next few months, you'll see vast numbers of people fleeing their homelands, as we've seen in some of the other countries that have already gone that route, notably Venezuela, of course. Any estimates of what the impacts of those kinds of political developments might be for further surges and the dire implications for our society?
Only that there will be impact from that. It's We're already seeing escalated numbers of illegal immigrant border crossers from those countries at our border, notably Cuba, but also Venezuela and Colombians are coming across, and they're all being allowed in immediately. Even the singles are being exempted from Title 42. It'll be difficult to distinguish between motivation for fleeing something, or just the fact, and just the fact that we've opened the border wide, everybody gets in,
Yeah.
But
It doesn't really matter what your motivation is, as long as you say I'm looking for asylum. Boom,
that's
you're a
right. And
candidate.
we definitely know that it doesn't take very long for the immigrants to be told to make a claim of,
Hmm.
oh, my government's communist. I need asylum. I mean, they are very adaptable to whichever coached stories will get them in.
Right.
So
Whatever the party line is
whatever the
at the
party
moment.
line is, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Todd, let me just say, one of the things that I've appreciated about you and the time that I've been aware of your work and privileged to be able to talk with you on various programs is your sense of what the national security implications of all this are, as well as the human toll that they're taking on the American people, not just the taxpayers, but the societies at large, and how this isn't just a problem confined to the border any longer. This is truly all across America and will be even more so as these numbers continue to uh, just metastasize. So thank you for the reporting that you do. Thank you for especially the analysis that accompanies all of this. And we really look forward to your new book. Overrun is, again, the working title. And we're understanding that it'll be out sometime this fall, perhaps. And if so, it'll be an enormously important document, I think, for those weighing uh, various candidates and their willingness to fix this particular problem. Thank you, my friend. Come back to us with updates very soon, if you would. Bill Walton is up next. We're going to talk with him about financial matters and more right after this.